Hi, and welcome to this webinar that we're doing today, focusing on working remote and using Teams to collaborate. My name is Dean Navarro, and I'm a solutions architect at Akins IT. I've been here for a little over a year now, and my focuses are on Exchange, email security, and telecommunications. Today, we're going to be going over what is Teams, how does it work, and how it can benefit your organization while we're working remotely as well as just in general. It's a platform that supports Windows, Macs, Androids, and iOS devices, and is available in the web browser, which provides the ability to chat, meet, call, and collaborate all in one. Recently, in response to the increased need for employees to work from home, Microsoft has actually offered a 6-month free Office 365 E1 trial, which includes Teams. So definitely, if you're interested in that, please feel free to reach out. As well as lastly, we have a Q&A available for this webinar. So if you have any questions as we go along here, definitely feel free to ask, and we will be answering them at the end. So if you could just give me one moment here, I'm going to actually switch us over to present Teams. What you're going to actually be seeing here is the web browser for demoing purposes. Okay, great. So starting off here, we're going to be showing some of the popular features. The web browser does have some limitations, again, but just for demoing purposes, we're going to be showing it from here as I'm doing the live webinar from Teams itself. There isn't a way to actually show the Teams client as an example, but definitely when we're working on a one-on-one session or anything like that, we can drill into those a fair bit more. So first off, we have chat here. So with chat, we have the ability to have a one-on-one private conversation with another individual. We have the ability to also see and control from this, from the Teams view here, our own status messages. So if we're available, busy, do not disturb. Similar to Outlook, this actually does sync with your Outlook availability. And then you have the ability to set a status message, which you can find up here. So I'm going to go ahead and start a chat here. I'm going to start a chat with Sean and kind of show you some of the features and functionality of Teams, even from the web browser again. So I'm in here. We can view Sean's status. Presently it shows that he's busy. Shows his title, his phone number, his email address, as well as the ability to have a couple click options here for the chat, email, view organization, or video call or call. So I'm just going to say hello to Sean here. So hello at Sean. I'm going to go ahead and ping him directly by doing the @ symbol here. We're going to actually mention him directly, which is going to create a notification for him on his end. So I'm just going to go hello Sean and send a little wave here, or a wave GIF here. Teams has the ability to do emojis as well as GIFs, things of that nature. So that is something that's available. What's up? So I'm just going to send this and ask him, are you available for a quick call? I have a question that I would like to go over with them or review something that's going on for a call. So I'm going to escalate this to a video call. And just double check that he is ready to go. Okay, great. So in here, we actually have the ability to video call or audio call right here. So if we click on video call, I actually will start a video call with Sean. And I think it's because I have the video on for the webinar. I actually don't see it, but there's Sean right here. So Sean is able to assist me as needed. I have the ability to share this screen as well as share different things that I would like to review with them and have a conversation on the side here for anything if we're in our example, or rather here at Akins, we share different commands that we're using or different scripts. Sean is using the blur background functionality here. Although it is a little pixelated overall right now, I assure you during normal conversations that you have, that we have the let me see if I can actually turn the video on for Sean. Apologies, Sean, for my video not showing there. But anyhow, we have the ability to blur the background when you have bandwidth that's not being saturated like it is right now. It would be much clearer than this. But just for, again, live demonstration purposes, here's the video functionality. And we have, again, the ability to put it on hold, transfer to another. You can transfer this call, consult, then transfer, let them know that, hey, I was working with Sean, and Sean had a question for you, so I just let them know before actually transferring that call. So I'm going to say goodbye to Sean right now. You won't actually be able to hear him as it's coming through the web browser right now, and my audio is being taken by the live webinar. Okay. So that was video calling or escalating a video. We have in Teams the ability to do chat or group chats. So if I wanted to have a group chat with Sean as well as Brittany, oops, excuse me. We can do that here. And I'm going to say hello to chat. So this is the group chat right here, and we can add more members or leave this chat here. So if we wanted to add another individual to this chat, we can do that by going to this add bar at the top here. We have the ability to not include chat history or include history from the past number of days. We can specify if we only wanted to see one day of history or include all chat history. In this case, it's totally fine to include all chat history. In some cases, you may have had a organizational policy change or some sort of adjustment that may adjust why you would want to maybe not confuse a new employee. So if a new employee was on board of the company and you guys had a recent adjustment or change in the way that things operate or function, and you don't want to confuse that new user, maybe you'd want to not include a certain portion of chat history. So I just went ahead and added Chris in there. You do see a log of this occurring. So we can always be on the same page on things that are happening in a chat or a channel overall. Okay, so just real quick again on a high level, that's chat. I showed you the ability to look at your personal availability and actually adjust your current status as well as your set your status message. I had shown the ability, to see the status of another individual that you're currently working with, as well as can also show here too just some of the collaboration functionality overall. So we have the ability to add a file in this file. I upload this here. I'll go ahead and show you where that goes. So you see this pop up here where the file with this name already exists. I actually had shared this file a little bit earlier, but I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. It's not relevant. It was just for testing purposes again. So by sharing this file with everybody, we have the ability to click into this file, write in within Teams, and actually start editing as needed. In here, we can also look at the ability to do follow-ups on certain tasks or certain things that you need to look into, as well as add comments if you have any questions or concerns on something. But within here, if Sean or Brittany or Chris, were to write in here, which I'll actually ask if one of them can, so we can see this here. And we'll actually be able to see Sean come in here and edit this document. While we're waiting for that, we do have the ability to open this in the desktop app as well as open this in the browser. or if we just wanted to download it all together, we can do that all from within the same client here. We also have the editor, which is built into Teams for checking spelling, grammar, any refinements, just overall distinction on this document here. So we can actually see Brittany right here. She's actually pressing enter, just moving down the document here. You can actually see her cursor. I can also see up here at the very top that Sean has this document open. Brittany, she's on page 1. If this was a document that had multiple pages, we could go to different locations or see the exact location that this user is currently at and be able to do adjustments as needed. Thank you, Sean. I hope the webinar is going well as well. Okay, so getting out of there and switching gears a little bit here, we're going to be shifting our focus onto the different teams and the functionality of teams. So on a high level, what a team is within Teams, it's a collection of people, content, and tools surrounding different projects. This can be per client, per department. In our organization, we use this as a per client basis. So different projects actually end up being different channels and different areas that relate to that company will have different channels too. Again, keep everything organized, keep your tools organized, and things of that nature. So in the ABC Corp channel here, which I created today for demo purposes, we see that there is 3 different channels. We have the general channel, the management channel, and the marketing channel. The management channel is actually a private channel where we can add individuals, but this is limited. The view of this is limited to whoever is actually in this specific channel. So there is no, anybody else able to see this. If there's any files that are shared, we'd be able to see those underneath this files tab right here. And in there, we'd be able to, even upload or add other cloud storage solutions. But again, things that are within this channel are private. So there is compatibility for standard and private channels, as well as inside of each channel, you'll find tabs as relevant to that channel. So for demonstration purposes, if you go down to marketing and look at the different tabs here, we have the files and the wiki, but there is no other tabs here presently. But if we come up to the general tab, we did add a notebook earlier today, a OneNote notebook that just could be anything here, but you do have, again, the ability to open the OneNote directly within Teams, be able to collaborate, work together, and make adjustments as needed, and then in a quick, easy fashion. Some other tabs that we can add here would include, a SharePoint site or Power BI, for a sales team, if they need to see analytics, or finance, if they need to see different analytics, you can have a Power BI tab that's specific and makes sense for that specific channel. But there is a plethora of different applications or tabs that are available for each channel from within Teams. And we could definitely review and see what fits best in your organization. Right here with Jolene from earlier today, we see a @mention to this account, this demo account, where we can denote this by this right here, and that the highlighted name here, where she's trying to get my attention and needs me to review and let me know my thoughts. From within this, I could click here onto this link, view that doc, reply here, or reply from within that doc and let her know what changes I did or what questions I may have. Keeping that experience, again, all within Teams and letting everything be fluid and dynamic. So within a team, we also have the ability to mention a whole entire team. So if you have an org-wide team and you would like to let the whole organization know a specific message or something that's very important, we can go in here, we can tag this message as important. We also can post this in multiple channels or control who can reply and what exactly happens here. So I'm just going to do test announcement, tag the whole team. and let them know this announcement. I'm just going to type that flat out. And go ahead and send it out. So this will send out to everybody. It'll bring out the important. It's some sort of announcement for this ABC Corp, and this will ping every user currently in this team of this announcement, keeping everybody on the same page and keeping it for the individuals it's relevant to. Okay. So what we're also able to do here is, no problem, Chris, is actually save messages. So you can see on here that I've actually saved this message, but we can also save other messages and review those later if we need to, or if teams are very active, sometimes it's beneficial to be able to save those and then come up here quickly, and you can do a / and then saved, and this will show you all messages you currently have saved. So save messages will show up here. Looks like it's loading for a second. Let me double check and see what. Again, there might be some limitations here just with the web browser, but we do have some other available options up here as well. We can do /who to see maybe who somebody is, or ask them a question, ask a question about someone. We have org to see the organizational chart of a certain user if you want to see the manager of that user, or if you're following up on a new employee and you don't know who they report to, maybe you have some feedback that you'd like to provide and you want to make sure that that gets to their direct report. We can do that all from within here. We also have the ability to see unread. So any unread messages that you may have. So I didn't actually click into these messages, but you can see that it lets me know that I didn't view this where Sean had liked my message, as well as the response from Chris inside of that team, letting me know again that there was feedback given there or response provided. Within the Files tab, similarly to chat, we have the ability to see all files relevant to this channel. We also can pin these files to a channel. Again, if it just needs to be more prominent or it's more relevant overall, we can pin those, be able to head in and evaluate those as needed. And we can actually rearrange these channels. You're unable to do that in the web browser, but if it's relevant, you can rearrange them as well as pin them to make sure that they're always showing. So you can see right now I pinned this channel to the very top. So if that channel is the most relevant or I'm very active in that channel, I can pin that there, make sure I have eyes on what's going on, as well as hide this channel to where I don't actually see this channel when I'm looking at the overall team, and we can kind of keep everything organized in the way that best fits you. Okay, so that's teams and channels in a very high level, just kind of overview. So we went over, what is a team, what is a channel, the ability to @mention teams or users, or channels rather. We looked at activity notifications, the ability to pin files, save messages, and while unable to demonstrate move channels and tabs, some of the differences between standard and private channels. And then again, the sharing and collaborating files is the same as we had demonstrated earlier in the chats. So with that, I'm actually going to show you here as well how to create a meeting similar to this right here, where you can see why I did one earlier. So I'm going to create a meeting that we can demo here live. So just one moment here. So this is my Teams client, which is actually doing the live webinar as we speak. But again, By coming up here into, let me focus this better. Coming into calendar and then going over here and going to scheduled meeting or live event, you can go in here, click this. This will bring up your meeting tab. Looks very similar to Outlook. You can add a title for test meeting or whatever it may be. Add your required attendees. So I'm going to go ahead and add Chris, Brittany, and Sean again, as I had did with the group chat. And I'm just going to set this for today, 2:30 to 3 o'clock. And I want to make sure that this goes into the ABC Corp general channel. We are able to select any channel that you have currently available to you, and it will post a notification in that channel letting you know that that meeting was created. That way, users can respond or look at it as needed. If you need assistance or want to confirm that those users are available, we do get the scheduling assistant within Teams to see what may be currently on that user's calendar or what they may be currently working on. So from there, we can go ahead and actually just send this channel or this meeting invite out. And right here, you can see where I had scheduled a meeting. It shows the title, it shows the time that it's for. And by clicking on this, we can actually go into that meeting. I do also want to show real quick, we've gotten a lot of questions in regards to Outlook and how to create Teams meetings from there. We very frequently do this with clients that we work with. So when you're looking at Outlook and you create a new meeting within Teams, so I just went ahead and I clicked new meeting in Outlook. You have the ability to add a Teams meeting right here. By clicking this button, this will automatically generate all your necessary information for that meeting. Once you adjust the time, the required individuals, who's optional, it will send that out just like any other calendar invite, but provide this Teams URL, provide the conference ID and bridge number, and everything that user needs to be able to connect and work with you on that meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and join this meeting just to show you again some of the capabilities of Teams with meetings. And the reason why this is useful or beneficial is the ability to video chat and communicate as needed, especially while working remotely. We as an organization presently every morning do a huddle. You may have saw it on my calendar, and that huddle allows us to connect because we're not able to see each other as we normally would in the office, and be able to make sure that we maintain that ability and the ability to organize and work efficiently. So by joining this meeting, I'll go ahead and there I am. How's it going? Go ahead and join this call here. And let me see if anybody else is in here. Let's wait a second here. Okay, here comes Sean. So there's Sean. Again, I don't think you guys will be able to hear Sean, but Sean should be able to hear me. If you could give me a thumbs up, you can hear me, and we're all good there. Yep, it's pretty much immediate. There's no real delay on the video chat overall. And I will also see if anybody else is able to join, just so we can have show you what it kind of looks like when we actually have a meeting set up and we're demoing everything. Okay. I don't hear anything anybody is saying, but regardless, I'm gonna actually disconnect here. It looks like I'm having some latency just with, again, the live webinar, so everything is a little tricky on the bandwidth side, but we can definitely review this further and show some of this capability, maybe on a more one-on-one setting or working session. Okay, see you later, Sean and Brittany and Chris. Okay, great. One thing I didn't cover in that, just again, it was a little choppy, but you do have the ability in the bottom bar there to record demos as well, record those meetings, which is great for connection issues like such as the one I'm experiencing presently. Unexpected distractions, remote users can often be exposed to more distractions or roadblocks than they would have had they, if they were in the office. So by recording meetings, you also provide the ability for users to review those later and work as needed, or review those as needed and follow up. We also have within Teams, similarly to how you might just pop into someone's office, within the Teams client, we have the Meet Now functionality. I'm unable to do this because we're actually in the live presentation. If I click this, it will pop up letting me know that, hey, you're doing a live webinar. You can't meet somebody else at the same time here. But what that does is it's very similar to just walking into somebody's office, asking them a quick question. You can title that meeting, that quick regroup, if you will, and let that user know that, hey, I'm trying to connect. Just want to evaluate something. You can share your screen. You can share a document, and establish that impromptu meeting as needed. Okay, so on a high level, that's meetings. I showed you how to create a meeting within Teams, how to use Outlook to create that Teams meeting, joining a meeting, and a little bit of what that looks like. The blur background functionality, which is again really limited right now in terms of doing a live webinar. But definitely if we're in a working session or a group call, we can show that functionality. And then again, the ability to record meetings. There's a lot of features that I'm unable to demo during this live webinar, but we definitely can look into those as well as evaluate what works and what fits best for your organization. So I'm going to adjust this again real quick here just to show what we have available for anybody that's interested. So just bear with me one moment here while I get everything shifted around. So some next steps, we have developed a Teams onboarding package. This package includes discovery, verifying licenses that are needed for your organization, how the permissioning should work out in that structure, some best practices for Teams in that structure, and interviewing IT directors, department heads, as well as some IT administrator training, and then user training with follow-up user training. So, and what that means is we can go through a lot of the features and do a demonstration of how things work, see if users can how it best fits in getting used to that, and then do some follow-up training as needed with those individual users that may be experiencing some issues or just have some questions. And this is the contact us page. So again, my name is Dean Navarro. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. There's also the company information right here. If you're unable to watch this live or participate in the Q&A, then we would have you have the ability to reach out here, and we'll assist accordingly. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and check out the Q&A, see if there's any questions that anybody may have. And it does look like this is, there is some questions here. So Jody asked, is this being recorded? So this is being recorded. We will have this available online as well as available as requested if you'd like it sent to you directly. Q Morales had asked, is there a way to pre-populate a group or department in the chat area so departments have their coworkers already listed? Yes, so there is a couple different ways to go about that. You can do org-wide groups where the whole entire organization is added, as well as add different departments in a similar way with a different group, basically. So you can have a security group and be able to add that security group as needed to get those users. But there is definitely a couple different ways, and we can definitely evaluate that as needed. I hope that answers your question. Jerome, you asked, can you show how Teams integrates with email or Outlook? So I did show a little bit of that. Maybe I think this was earlier on in the presentation. I do see another message in here saying to can you show the Teams meeting creation in Outlook again? It didn't go live. I could definitely flip this around here and maybe just show that again. So just give me 1 second here. So let me see here. Let me go ahead and show the Teams meeting creation in Outlook. So this is the Outlook, Teams meeting, or rather meetings tab, and there is a button up here. It's an add-in for Teams where you can go ahead and just click this. It makes it very straightforward and simple to add that, and again have the information needed for a user to be able to connect via conference ID or the Teams meeting directly. You can open this into the web browser. You can also open this into the client, your desktop client, and that's pretty much it. Q Morales had asked create a telephone conference call so staff have the option to just call in. Yes, so you can, similarly to that Outlook event, if I'm understanding this correctly, you do have with those Teams meetings in Outlook, as well as when you create the meetings in Teams, it gives a conference number and conference ID where users can call in directly if they're unable to access, the browser or the Teams application, or maybe it just makes more sense for them to dial in directly. In a video conference, what's the maximum number of attendees you can have, Jerome? So the actual number, I think it's actually recently adjusted. I'll have to double check, but I can definitely get you the exact number for today. I believe it originally was at 500, but that may have been adjusted recently. So I'll double check and follow up with you on that one. Dan, you'd ask, can you web share a document? So yeah, I think if you're referring to the ability to in a call share your screen, you can definitely share your screen of that document if you wanted to share like web share in that sense, or do you mean upload the document and then collaborate in that way? Lenny, you'd asked, where does the recording be stored? So the recordings are stored actually in SharePoint, as well as Microsoft Stream. You would have access to that after the meeting is concluded. You'll get a notification that when the recording is available for your use, and yeah. Anonymous, what about posting images? Can several be loaded and posted at once? Yes, so you can. There is an attach file option, and you can select definitely a plethora of pictures or even documents or things of that nature to upload at the same time for a specific post that you're making in Teams. Jolene, I just saw your message saying recording won't be available. We will send them out. So that is correct. I think Lennon was asking just for clarification or confirmation here. I think he was asking where is the recording stored? So in terms of the actual Teams, if you will, the back end of Teams is SharePoint. So when you're creating a Office 365 group, you're also able to link that into Teams, and then the back end of all that is actually SharePoint. It was still showing the Teams screen during the meeting creation. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Let me see why it's not showing. I'm sharing the whole screen, so we'll just go through this one more time here, just because I do want to make sure that we do show this. So I do see on my end, I'm looking at it now specifically, that the Outlook meeting invite is up. So again, just for demo purposes here, meeting, and then there's a Teams meeting button right here. And so when you click on this, you actually have the ability to join Teams meetings from this button as well. If you're looking from your calendar and you click into the calendar, you open up that calendar invite. You can actually there's an option here to join that Teams meeting, but yeah, this is it right here. I'm actually going to leave this up. I'm going to confirm that you guys can see this, and that you are and that makes sense. Kelly, you had asked, can you restrict access to a specific channel in a team? So yes, you definitely can restrict access to a specific channel in a team. You would have, it would be listed as a private channel. So from within the actual channel, which is defined by this lock icon, is a private channel. So everybody in ABC Corp can see the general and the marketing, but the private channel would be hidden only to the members of this channel. And you have the ability to add members right here, and those would be the only individuals that would actually see that specific channel. Jody, I mentioned this to Brittany. We have an E3 account. How do we add Telephone Bridge to meetings with people outside the org? So there is a Outlook add-in, and Jody, I can work with you on that to make sure that gets set up for you. But there's an Outlook add-in that you put in for the Teams functionality from within Outlook itself, just like this. So I can definitely assist you with that process, and we can work through that. Anonymous, we see that now. It's fine. Great. Thank you for the confirmation there. And Lennon, I believe you can also set up the Teams meeting from the Teams app as well. Yes, that's correct. So I know I went through all this very quickly, but from the Teams application itself, you definitely can, under the calendar view, create that meeting right, from right within. So under left-hand side, you'd have calendar as well as your activity again, and schedule meeting, and this would be that meeting creation process right there. Okay, great. Well, if there is no other questions presently, it was great talking with you guys. Excuse me. But that is the end of the webinar. So again, let me go ahead and just put the contact information. If anybody wants to reach out, has any other additional questions, definitely please feel free to do so. I would be happy to help however I can. So I'm just going to put that up real quick. So there it is again right there. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We look forward to working with you soon. Thank you.